It's very important to study Nei Qi Gong or qigong in general, but I think any kind of discipline in general with a teacher, for a very simple reason, because talking about qigong, we might get into it intellectually and reading and fantasizing about things, maybe using a book or a YouTube video. But the experience is really missing. We don't have anybody to verify our sensations. We're talking about something in reality that it is also quite complex and quite subtle at the beginning. Without a teacher also we might imagining things based on what we read, in the sense that we read something and we create a story about it, when in reality things could be different. And also it becomes quite cold. It is a cold way of learning something because the warmth, the connection with the teacher is missing. That's why in my case I really like actually, and I don't accept everybody, to work with my students, in the sense that I encourage a very mature relationship and independent, but they know I'm there when it is needed all the time. So although the practice of Nei Qi Gongs are not some kind of Sunday qigong where we meet or we practice all together, they are rather more personal tool that need to be applied in our daily life. They know that I'm there, so we have a connection, and they have chance to have somebody who has just a bit more experience on that path, because I've been doing this now for 5 years, and I'm currently doing level 10 at the time of this video out of 12 of the system, so I have something going on as in the body as far as experiences. So I'm in the position of, as an advanced practitioner, of verify the sensations that somebody might bring on the table for verification. And each of us is different in the sense that not every person moves at the same speed, not every person understands the same things. We might discover something here, then the other person might discover on the other side. So having somebody to verify your own understanding based on the fact, like in my case, that I've walked this path, so I know how certain things will evolve, will give us the possibility of making sure that we are moving in the path, not just intellectually, but more practically, by building our knowledge based on our own experience. So no storytelling, not anybody telling you stories about something, but we find something out with a skeptical mind. This is what I encourage people to do, about their mind and about the system itself. I say you have to be very skeptical. Just practice like a scientist. When you see that something repeats itself, it means that you're finding a hint for an understanding about this layer of reality of yourself. In that moment you contact me and I tell you, yes, it is true, it works in this way, no, it's a temporary sensation. This kind of approach allows to be at the center of our life, not to look for things outside, not for look for a guru for the next story. We optimize and understand ourself, how we work, and with the help of a teacher we can verify our findings. So it's a very independent path, as it should be, I think, any kind of real and path of personal development, because it's about we. Each of us is different. It's about working with our mind. It's about working with our experiences to later build our knowledge, practical knowledge about what we're doing. And also it is nice to work with a teacher because, as I said, it's cold to read the book. That kind of encouragement, that kind of friendly connection, that kind of talk that goes even beyond the fact that we are working with this discipline, I think it's a relevant part. Also because the world doesn't encourage us to become better human beings. So to have somebody that you can relate with in a friendly, respectful way, and to discuss also other things and see how he is and the way he expresses himself, it can also be an exchange. Not for feeling lower than the other person, but rather to feel yourself belonging to the same world, which we know it's a quite ugly word things go wrong, and not everybody behave in a good way, even though we try our best here. So it is nice, and I think it's important to create that kind of connection also based on friendly and human experience, and to investigate together, in this case qigong, Nei Qi Gong, what we are, to improve ourselves and have a better human experience, and possibly get to a point, which is what I wish to all my students, to many of them, because it's a quite difficult thing sometimes. It's to be free, in the sense to become responsible for yourself, by understanding that if you look at yourself and you work with yourself, there is no need for stories outside to tell you about a better world, a better life, an afterlife. You find for yourself what it is real, and you can live your life independently. That's why I encourage to find a good teacher. It doesn't have to be me, or it doesn't have to be qigong, but somebody you can relate with, and be skeptical about it at the beginning, and create a good connection with this person. And sometimes working with a teacher is not easy, because we see all our rubbish, because it works a little bit like a trigger, like a mirror of our craziness. So it's not easy sometimes. That's why also I decide not to accept everybody, because I want to keep my life simple. If we have the right attitude, and we understand that we are just human beings, we don't know everything, and we have the right attitude to learn from somebody, then we can receive some tools to do the work for ourselves.